When you see a beautiful woman with a great figure, you might find yourself feeling a flutter in your chest but struggling to approach her. The fear of rejection can deeply root itself in your mind, making it hard to muster the courage to take the first step. But did you know that surprisingly, the more perfect a woman seems, the more likely she is to be vulnerable? At first, they may seem very arrogant, but with a little bit of skill, you can reveal their vulnerabilities and eventually make them open up to you. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 methods to make a beautiful, well-built woman your own. If you master these 5 methods, I confidently guarantee that you can make any woman fall for you. Let me explain each one in detail. First, you need to leverage the human tendency to avoid loss. This concept is widely applied in behavioral economics and marketing, and it refers to the fact that humans feel the pain of losing something far more intensely than the joy of gaining it. As a result, most people unconsciously think, what if I lose this? This fear is the same in relationships. When you develop feelings for a woman, the fear of losing her causes you to cling to her and rush to express your feelings. This makes you seem desperate and puts you in a position where you are chasing her. However, there is a way to flip this dynamic by strategically leveraging the loss aversion principle. The theory that using scarcity can maximize emotions is very useful in relationships between men and women. Simply put, you first give a little bit of affection and then suddenly take it back. When you show affection, express it just enough for the other person to notice, and then when they become accustomed to it, take it back. Women will think, huh? Why did this person who seemed interested in me suddenly become so indifferent? And at the same time, did I do something wrong? For example, when you first meet someone, casually say something like, "You're really pretty," 2 or 3 times. This will make the woman become somewhat accustomed to the affection you're showing. At this point, you should withdraw your expressions of interest. For example, if the woman says, "I can't eat spicy food," you could respond with, "Oh, I love spicy food, so that's a shame." The woman, who has been feeling good after hearing compliments a few times, will be caught off guard by the sudden sense of loss. In most cases, she will respond with something like, "Well, I can't say I can't eat it at all," or actually, "I can eat it if I try," wanting to regain your affection. This is a classic example of the loss aversion principle at work. If a woman shows no reaction when you withdraw your affection, you should give it more time and build up your affection further. She may not yet be accustomed to receiving affection from you. However, once you've made her feel comfortable with your compliments and expressions of affection, try subtly withdrawing some of your affection. There's a high chance she'll notice and think, huh? Why is he doing that? Ultimately, you're making her try to avoid losing you. Second, you need to subtly show her that you're more valuable than she is. Deep down, all women have this underlying belief that they won't get involved with someone they perceive as less valuable than themselves. Here, value doesn't just mean money, job, or looks. Of course, if you have a lot of money, a good job, or attractive looks, you might score points more easily. But that's not the whole picture. I've seen friends who date wealthy men but treat them like doormats, not truly caring about them while just taking their money. In such cases, while the wealthy man may have high value in terms of money and status, he may lack the qualities of a strong man, charm, or a relaxed demeanor. Ultimately, there is a high likelihood that the woman will not give him genuine affection and will leave him once she has exploited his financial benefits. Such a relationship does not appear healthy or happy. Therefore, what we should focus on is a strong man and a confident attitude. Women are deeply attracted to men they perceive as stronger than themselves. This strength doesn't necessarily mean a muscular physique. It refers to the confidence and boldness that come through in speech, actions, and attitude. While it's certainly good to take care of your appearance and style, ultimately, you need to convey the image that I'm not less valuable than you. In fact, I have many more attractive qualities. Only then will women subconsciously place you in a position of superiority. This can be seen in small habits as well. For example, if you cling to a woman and say, "Can you spare a little more time?" or "Can I ask you a favor?" If you act overly cautious like this, it can make you seem less valuable to women. Of course, manners and consideration are basic, but it's also important to convey the vibe that I can control the situation. I'm on the same level as you, or even ahead of you. Third, you must make eye contact. This may seem trivial, but it's actually incredibly important. Women who have dated extensively and met many men can immediately sense a lack of confidence in a man who avoids eye contact or shifts his gaze constantly. This can easily lead to the preconception that this person is less valuable than me. On the other hand, a man who can look a woman in the eyes and listen to her with a gentle expression is truly attractive. During a conversation. When the woman is speaking, smile slightly, nod your head, and maintain comfortable eye contact. There's no need to stare directly into her eyes. If that feels uncomfortable, you can look at her eyebrows while talking, and she will still feel that you are making eye contact. However, there is one thing to be careful of. Never stare intently or fix your gaze on her eyes, as this will have the opposite effect. Keep the conversation flowing and occasionally take a sip of your drink or food to briefly divert your gaze. When it's your turn to speak, make eye contact again and try to maintain it until she looks away first. This attitude is an excellent way to express that you are confident in front of her and that there is no need to feel intimidated. From the woman's perspective, she will feel a subtle excitement and be overwhelmed by your confidence. Fourth, you need to create an atmosphere that makes her feel comfortable. It's often said that men are attracted to a woman's appearance, while women are attracted to the atmosphere. You've probably experienced this yourself. At first, you might not feel particularly drawn to someone, but if the environment or atmosphere feels romantic and cozy, your guard naturally comes down, and you start to develop feelings. Women are particularly susceptible to emotional fluctuations based on their surroundings, so creating the right atmosphere is crucial. So, how do you create an irresistible atmosphere? First, pay attention to scent and lighting. Before meeting, if you have a subtle, pleasant perfume, spray it lightly 3 times. The scent should just barely tickle your nose as you pass by. Next, choose a cozy cafe, restaurant, or bar in advance and guide them there. A place with dim lighting and a quiet atmosphere where you can have a conversation is ideal. If you feel a connection, you could go for a drive or head to a place with a beautiful beach or night view. Playing some soft music and sharing a drink while feeling the night air can naturally build the mood. As you make eye contact and talk, she might start to feel a bit fluttery and think, I want to give something to this person today. In fact, creating this kind of atmosphere is about maximizing environmental factors that make it easier for a woman to open up. To put it bluntly, she needs to feel, this man is really attractive and this situation is perfect. I want to get lost in this atmosphere before she can finally let go of her inhibitions and give herself to him. Fifth, be specific in your compliments. We often say, praise makes even whales dance. Everyone wants to hear praise. Moreover, if someone observes you closely and finds something special to praise, that attraction can skyrocket. However, most compliments are generic. You look really pretty today. You have an amazing body. Your skin is so smooth. These are the kinds of compliments we hear all the time. Of course, they make us feel good, but to really shake a woman's heart, you need to make her think, wow, I've never heard that before. For example, try saying, Emily, I was just looking at you and your collarbone line is really attractive. While phrases like your eyes are beautiful, your face is beautiful, or you have a great figure are common, it's rare to receive compliments on more detailed features like the collarbone, fingers, or neckline. Hearing something unexpected like your collarbone is so beautiful can evoke a pleasant sense of surprise. A new and fresh compliment can make someone feel special and instantly boost their attraction toward you. However, there's one important thing to keep in mind. Don't make unrealistic compliments. In other words, you should compliment something that the woman can genuinely appreciate. For example, if someone's collarbone isn't very noticeable, saying, your collarbone is so sexy, might come off as insincere or even offensive. It only makes her think, this guy is trying too hard to impress me. Instead, focus on genuinely attractive or unique aspects and compliment them naturally. Here are 5 ways to break down a beautiful fit woman. First, use the loss aversion principle by giving her some attention first and then pulling back slightly. Second, subtly show that you are a man of higher value than the woman. Third, overwhelm her with confident eye contact. Fourth, prepare a romantic atmosphere that she can't resist in advance. Fifth, Use specific, unique compliments to firmly establish attraction. If you master these 5 methods, you'll be able to leave a lasting impression as an attractive man on many women. But it doesn't end there. I recently read an article that revealed a surprising survey result. Many women actually dislike overweight or obese men the most. Of course, judging someone solely by their appearance is not entirely fair. But it's also true that without basic self-care and a healthy appearance, it's difficult to develop attraction. No matter how skilled you are in dating, if you don't take care of yourself, your charm won't shine through. Basic physical health and a neat appearance are essential. So, make sure to exercise regularly and pay attention to your diet. Also, research and develop a style that suits you. Once you have a solid foundation, the strategies I've shared, loss aversion psychology, value-enhancing tactics, eye contact, setting the mood, and specific compliments, will work much more effectively, and women will be drawn to you much faster. Once you've prepared this thoroughly, it's time to apply it in real life. There's no need to rush in or try too hard to lead the conversation from the start. Instead, use these 5 techniques naturally, one at a time, in appropriate situations and at the right moments. For example, start with a gentle compliment like, "You look really beautiful," then later say, "but I'm not a big fan of this," and create a little distance, or smile slightly and make eye contact confidently. Continue the conversation in a relaxed atmosphere with soft music. And finally, give a special compliment that will make her think about you even after she goes home tonight. Woman who experiences this series of events will feel that this man knows how to captivate me and become drawn to the confidence and unique expressions of affection you show her. Of course, not all human relationships follow a set pattern, but the odds definitely increase. When you realize, I can be a man who exudes this kind of charm, the world of dating will become much broader and more interesting. To sum it up, if the woman you like is beautiful and has a great figure, and she gives off an image of being hard to get, these 5 strategies will work even better. Why? Because the more perfect someone seems, the stronger the backlash when their guard is down. In other words, the more perfect someone is, the more their flaws stand out when they're vulnerable. If you can exploit that psychology and confidently showcase your masculinity, you'll be able to win her heart. Finally, remember this: no matter how outstanding your techniques and strategies are, they won't shine if you don't have proper self-management. You need to maintain a healthy weight, keep a neat appearance, and exude confidence. Once you've built a solid foundation with these basics, using the methods I've shared will help you become a man who is loved by all women. That's all for today's story. Thank you to everyone who watched until the end. We at Dating After 40 will continue to share women's honest feelings and delicate emotions in greater depth. Please subscribe and like us to show your support. Thank you.